What's happening, guys? Welcome to the live stream of consciousness. I'm Michael Zinn. You are here. I am here. We made it again to Thursday, my happy place. This spot in the week. We're all here, ready to co-create something really interesting, I think, tonight. Because I originally had a guest planned, Robin Speiler or Spieler. I don't know how to pronounce it because I didn't get a chance to talk to her yet. She was supposed to be on tonight, and she canceled last minute, and I was a little disappointed because she's got her own podcast and she should know how that kind of throws things into the mix. But maybe we'll get her rescheduled. Maybe we won't. We'll see. But I had to scramble around and figure out what to do tonight because I have to be in my happy place, right? I have to meet all you guys here. I have to say hello to Carrie, who's here, to Jilly, to Courtney, who's sorry about my guest canceling. Yes, I'm sorry, my guest canceled too. But the universe has better plans for me. The live stream of consciousness is supposed to be happening. And the ripples that are happening from it are supposed to be happening. There's a show that Sunshine, who was a guest on the show, does called The Ripple Effect. I think it's called The Ripple Effect, which was just inspired from being on the show. She wanted to do it too, and now she's talking to some wonderful people, having some great conversations. There's The Strange and Wonderful, which is a kind of an offshoot of this show. It was one of the viewers, Courtney, who lives a little bit of a not the mainstream lifestyle. So she wanted to interview people like that. And that's been amazing, very spiritual, talking to some amazing people there. And Carrie is excited for the new guest. Oh, I can't wait to introduce you to the new guest. I have actually an old guest and a new guest tonight. We're doing a little bit of a powwow. So before I start the show, I just wanted to explain, I'm going to have Car on the show as an episode, but this is not going to be a traditional episode. This is going to be a powwow. We're going to talk about the energy that's happening right now on the planet, in the cosmos, everywhere, because I feel it. I know Brian feels it. I know Car feels it. I don't know if you guys are feeling it. I know Jill feels it. Jill had an amazing experience today that she was telling me about. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff, but I guess let's get the power started. It all works out the way it needs to. Spirit is in charge. That's right. The universe, everything is already planned out, and everything is, not only is it planned out, but it's good. Like, it's good stuff. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some stuff that seems bad, but you get through that stuff to get to the good stuff, love and connectedness and all of that stuff. And that's where we are. Ooh, I didn't even move my microphone closer. Does that sound better? Courtney has been feeling positive energy today. That's great. And listen, retrograde isn't always about bad stuff happening. It's about the energy that is circulating and changing and moving. So, and that's all I know about it. Our guests know much more about it, and we'll hear all about that. So I'm going to bring on an old friend of the show first. Mr. Brian Lahr is here to join us. I'm going to create some tension with the way I introduce this. What's up, Brian?
What's up, my brother? Good to see you.
Doing?
Good to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I wanted to bring you on first because I wanted to talk a little bit about something that you and I are doing together real quick before we bring on Car, because Car was introduced into my life through that other project that we're doing. And so that's called The Fool's Journey. And you are the one who told me what that expression means. Tell me what that expression means and what it means to the project that we're doing.
Well, The Fool's Journey is a kind of exciting brainchild that's been percolating for me for many years, and it springs out of my love of the tarot and a deck that I had created for the 10th anniversary edition of that deck. Mm-hmm. And you received that deck and thought it was really awesome. And, mm-hmm. you know, we both sort of had the idea that it'd be a really good idea, since you had wanted to kind of begin that journey of learning that we make that card by card journey through the tarot deck. And the very first 22 cards which are the major arcana cards, are considered a journey of initiation. The first card is the Fool, and each additional card past that is some lesson, some spiritual tool that he needs in order to evolve and prosper and be his big self. And we just got through with the Magus card this past Monday on the show, which incidentally the ruling planet of is Mercury. So it all just sort of comes together in a really cool way. And the really excellent thing about there's a lot of tarot shows out there, but there aren't very many that combine some actual real practical magical practice, or energy practice rather, with those cards, because each of the cards has a life lesson, but it also, part of that life lesson is how to awaken your innate abilities and achieve your biggest, most full self.
Absolutely. And I it feels like that's what's happening. Doesn't it feel like that? It feels like it is.
It does. It feels like it's something bigger, and like I'm not really in control of it, which is a really uncomfortable feeling for me.
No, I love it. I love it. Go with it. So again, I'm just going to give you another minute or two here.
I want to talk about Car for a second, dude, because it just didn't come through that project. Yeah,
I'm going to let you introduce her, but I do want to, again, I'm thinking about the content that we're creating and the legacy that we're leaving on the internet right now. So I just want to, again, give you the moment for people who haven't seen you on the show. You are a mystic and a shaman. You basically, I met you as an artist. You do light painting. So this picture here up on top with the wings that you're looking at is one of your light paintings, but you created a tarot deck out of your beautiful artwork. And not only out of your beautiful artwork, really, this is the thing that's so important for me and why I'm so excited about the Fool's Journey, is it's also all of your years of wisdom, of understanding and learning tarot. You did 40 years of tarot before
not just tarot, but there's 5 other divination systems combined with this: Ifa, Odus, geomancy, runes, numerology. So within this one deck, man, you've got like 5 systems of divination to check out every single thing. And it's now connected to the angel deck too, which they work in tandem like amazingly. So it's this whole system of being able to do your energy weather forecast every day.
Totally. And again, what's so exciting for me is the way that you combined your artwork and your spiritual work and all of that energy into this deck. So I think that's why it's such a powerful deck and why this show is going to be really great. So check out The Fool's Journey on YouTube. And then we had on our last episode, you invited a guest. So now is your time to talk about Car, introduce her, tell us.
That's true.
And give me the cue when you want me to bring her on.
So, Car and I met a few years ago through my tarot deck. She had found that herself, contacted me and said, "Hey, man, what do you think?" And we struck up a conversation. She got some decks and just super connected to them from the beginning, and we wound up striking up a friendship. She's a very talented reader, psychic, medium herself, and has been doing it for a very long time. She's got her own YouTube channel here too that we'll hawk here in a minute. And she was gracious enough to share her audience with me and exposed me to all of them as well. So it just seemed like a perfect go around, with this beginning, that our first guest would be somebody I love, really respect, and have infinite admiration for. So.
Absolutely. And
with that,
with that, I'm going to bring her on, but I got to say, she is magical.
She is.
She really glows. I was doing a little research today. I'll bring her on and then I'll embarrass her. What's up, Car?
Hi.
How you doing? Wow. Good to see you.
Thank you, Brian. That was so sweet. Yeah, I'm glad to be back on with you guys because it feels good to be in your energy. Like you're just so chill and there's just a flow. I feel like this vibe that is coming together here.
Absolutely. There's such a great energy. So just before I talk to you, Car, Jilly is saying your cards are magical, so she's really loving the cards, Brian.
That's awesome, Jilly.
And my buddy James is out there. What's up, Jim? Good to see you out there listening to the live stream of consciousness. So Car, I was really happy to meet you on Monday when we did the Fool's Journey, and again, your energy was amazing. We didn't get to talk afterwards, so I'm kind of telling you now, it was really a great show. I got a lot of good feedback about it, and then earlier today, when you agreed to help me out tonight and be on the show, I was researching a little bit more and watching some of your videos on your YouTube channel, which, like Brian said, we're going to hook. Let me put that on here. Where is that? Hold on. I know I have it here from the other day. Oh, gosh. There's Wizard of Odd. Hold on a second. I don't see it in my thing. Well, your YouTube channel is called Stars and Pearls, and it's dedicated to your mediumship and your tarot, and it's the mediumship that we didn't get to talk about on the show. So I was kind of excited to learn that you were also a medium. I'm just going to put Stars and Pearls up there if people can search that on YouTube. And I loved the story that you told about how you came into your mediumship, and again on our episode I'm going to have you talk about that. Yeah, I'm just loving all of these energetic beings crossing paths and creating things like this to just share with everybody, and the response that it gets and the ripples that it makes and all of that stuff.
Thanks to you for hosting the platform and making the space, and Brian for his life.
It is pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. So again, I'm trying very hard not to do my standard thing with you, because I do want to get to know you.
Well, go ahead. She'll have an answer for you. She doesn't need.
Oh no, I know she'll have an answer. But I want to give her the spotlight when I ask her about what is consciousness and all of that stuff. Tonight, I think what I want to talk about, because I know I've been feeling it in the last couple of days, today especially. I guess it started yesterday with the cancellation and trying to get this all together. But Brian was talking about Mercury retrograde on Monday, and we are in the middle of a retrograde. So why don't we start with that, Car? Why don't you tell us? I know you usually speak to the people who already know, but speak to us like, we don't know. What is a retrograde, first of all? What does it mean?
Okay, retrograde is when planets are seen to be moving backwards in the cycle. They're not actually moving backwards, but looking from the standpoint from the Earth, it looks like they're retrograding. They're moving backwards. And so,
can I ask? And now I've heard people say that before, but I'm not real. It's like I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. But what does that really mean? So when you see a planet moving, it's normally like going left to right, and then now suddenly it appears to be going right to left. Is that
exactly
basically okay? I just wanted to clear that up for once and for all in my mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and this is kind of unusual because we have a lot of retrograde planets happening right now.
Exactly.
And also the planetoids, and I think Chiron and the north node of the moon, like all of it is in retrograde. So it's getting heavier because Mars is about to go retrograde in October, and Mars is really like masculine energy, forward movement. So when he goes retrograde too, it's like everything is really, it's like somebody hit the brakes. Somebody's pushed the brakes. It's like full stop. And people can get off if they choose, kind of like the Queen today. I mean, she's riding out on the full moon arc. Full moons I've noticed, tend to be like a portal opening. And a couple days before or a couple days after, people can observe and see that usually the death rates kind of spike a little. And then,
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's a portal for people to kind of
and in Pisces too, like on Saturday, Pisces is a sign of finality. It's the end of the end of the end. So that really marks the end of an era, right? And the end of a certain way of seeing things and perceiving things. So we're really
Well,
now learning to need
that definitely sounds accurate, right?
Mm.
For right now, the time that we're in right now, it's, I mean, I know in the spiritual community, everybody's been talking about it for the last couple of years, the
Yeah.
shift, and there's different, I guess, modes or way people describe it, the 3D to 5D shift,
Right.
certain aspects of the shift, which encompasses everything, right? So it includes all of those things.
Yeah. But
Okay.
like you said in the beginning, retrogrades are not just being stuck and nothing works and, oh, Mercury's in retrograde now, so it's Mercury's fault that my computer doesn't work and this doesn't work. No, it's an invitation to go back over things and to revisit things and to dive deeper into things. And
usually the reason the computer screws up is because you didn't take care of it the way
Thank
it was
you,
supposed
right?
to anyway.
So that's one of my shticks, is I really don't want people to like stick to astrology and see that as being puppeting them and they have no free will and no agency whatsoever. It's like,
Right.
it's an influence, but it's exactly that, an influence, And
You know what? And I think that's why I said it that way, because I have heard that, normally the context associated with the retrograde is, oh, everything's going to go bad and things but from people who are a little bit more intuitive, I've heard that no, this is the time to kind of work with the energy and kind of
really simply, a retrograde, and Mercury is a perfect example of that. When it goes in reverse, it's just the kind of reversal of whatever the attributes of that planet are. Like with Mercury, the attributes of that planet are communication and clarity and crispness and systems and things running correctly. So when that would be in a retrograde sort of scenario, the energy would be to be pushing that in the reverse a little bit,
Gotcha.
And then the signs that the planets are retrograde in now says a lot too, like Jupiter in Aries. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, there's an emphasis upon inner awareness, inner growth, right? Because he's the big teacher, So in Aries is the first sign of self. So humanity is literally looking at itself and also looking at technological stuff, right? So that's Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces to a certain extent, right? And but there's a finality about this whole energy. It's like really wrapping up a cycle of the ages, and kind of reflecting and going over and kind of sketching a new direction, like where are we headed, right?
right. And more significantly than usual, I mean, I think astrology and energy is cyclical, right? I mean, we know that it goes through cycles, the ebbs and flows, and I always know, for me, when things are going great, I'm always like, I love that things are going great, but I'm always like in the back of my head, like, okay, that means that soon things are not going to be going so great, you know what I mean? And I just got to be ready for it. And again, this time around in the cycle, you supposedly learn a little bit each time around the cycle so that you handle it a little bit better and better each time, right?
And you learn not to sink into the highs or the lows.
Right.
You stay right in the middle.
That's right.
But I do have another theory.
Okay.
Yeah. But a couple of months ago, I was just sitting there, right? Like we always do. And all of a sudden, it's like this click. And it's like this eureka moment where I felt like, I got it. And it has to do with how the hologram is created, right? So for a hologram, to create a hologram, you need one source of light, basically, right? You need an image that you want to create in a holographic form, and you need several reflective surfaces. And the reflection is what gets me. And maybe I'm jumping ahead here, but it just felt like it needed to come out right now, so I'm just saying it. But I feel like with this alignment of all the planets, because there were also, what was unique was, I think around March or April was a alignment of the planets, and again in July, where all the planets were in a row, which very rarely happens, and then all the retrogrades, and it just felt like there was this reprogramming of the matrix of the hologram, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I could really see how that the reflection of the light and the reflection of in our universe, how everything is created.
Mhm.
I have to show you. I should have shown you the graphic that I did before. I'll send it to you right now in the
It's
chat.
almost like you're, what's coming to my
I'm
mind.
jumping way ahead.
No, this is great. It's almost like a system reset, right? That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when you reboot a computer, it goes through its little,
Yeah.
what's the word? Routines to set itself up and get ready, right, to run. So that's what I'm hearing. Oh, see, this is what I love. I love being able to have conversations and interpret things. Like when I talk to people who are high vibrational like you guys, I feel like everything, the words are hitting me like seeds and they're just landing in my brain, and then once they hit my brain they start to like germinate, and then my thoughts start going, and I'm just like, yeah, it's really awesome.
I just
Jill,
sent you an image on Facebook Messenger. So I
Control
couldn't
Alt
send.
Delete. Let me see what we got here.
Okay.
I gotta open that up. Facebook. Awesome.
You never know what direction these conversations are going to go in. I would have sent it to you before.
That's fine. No, I love it. I wish I could be super prepared and just bring stuff up.
Yeah, but that's the miraculous cool part of it, man.
Yeah, that is totally okay. So I just got I just got to verify because I have double authentication. This was me. Continue. Yeah, Car, I'm excited to have you on as a regular guest and let you tell your story and just all about you. Okay, so Messenger, here we go. Where are we? Boom. Car sent a photo. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see. Can I put this into the browser window? Yes, I can. And let's share that. Stop that one. So interesting as I navigate all of this stuff, right? Where are we here? Chrome tab. This is this one. Here we go. Good. Got it. And bam, there we go. Let me make us tinier. There we go. And see if I can make this a little bigger.
Boom, right? So in this, because I did a video a couple months ago on this whole planetary lineup, and I'll send you that after, and then you can post it underneath. But this is where like that download happened, where I realized, oh my God, like this is our reality, Like, so we have the sun, like this is the setup of how a laser works or a hologram works. And so we have a laser, we have a beam splitter, we have lenses, we have mirrors, we have a reflective surface. And so many people talk about like the reflective, like when they do medicine journeys and stuff like that, they feel like space itself is like this shiny black reflective surface. Oh, and yeah. David Icke has spoken about that as well in one of his journeys, that he saw like the shiny black reflective surface. And so it all just fell together, like everything is reflecting off of everything and creating this hologram that we live in, right? And so
yeah, this is fascinating. I'm trying to like process this as you're talking.
Yeah, it's like it came all in one chunk, and it's difficult to explain because I don't have the tech language for it. You know what I mean? Because it was just a download. It was a channeling.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute, because I mean this is, I think, pretty current in the spiritual community. This is the terminology people have been talking about, downloading, which is just kind of like these thoughts appearing in your head, right? You're just kind of like all of a sudden this information, you're some people say remembering it, some people say downloading it, all of this stuff. And then so you just articulated your thoughts on on the computer as a graphic here?
Not really. It came in as an instant understanding. I don't have any way to describe it otherwise.
That's a really interesting effect, and when that happens, it's pretty crazy because it's like a block a block transfer of it's not like a linear progression that builds. It's
Right.
like a block transfer of something you just know all of a sudden, like somebody,
Right.
like the Matrix thing, when they stick the thing in the back of the head and all of a sudden you come
There we go. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's exactly it.
You know, the whole entire martial arts
But
history.
It's not, so it's like just from not knowing to instant knowing at all at that moment, you know, and they come in complete rather than just pieces.
Bam.
Yeah.
Julie says, "Bam." Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And we were talking about this a little bit on the Fool's Journey, and just the whole idea of channeling. And really, what I try to break it down, because a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around channeling when it comes to other entities and speaking messages and stuff. But for me, channeling is something that, I mean, I did when I was a kid, and I was playing in bands, and I was in that band room playing with my friends, and I was just in this moment where I was completely lost. I was so attached to that moment and everything that was happening and all of the energies that were being exchanged through the music, that, you know, that whatever was coming out of my fingers onto my bass, I was playing bass, that was channeling. I was just, I was feeling it. And you know, it's so cool to like learn the concept of what channeling is, and then look back and be like, oh, wait a second, I've experienced that, and make those connections to what it actually is, right? I think that's pretty cool. So talk a little bit about this. Can you talk through this, or is it too?
Yeah, it's gonna kind of flow into your question of what is consciousness, right?
Oh, awesome.
And so for me, the way it was explained to me what consciousness is that we are awareness within consciousness, right? So everything, like the shamanic worldview of reality, is that everything is consciousness. Everything has a spirit, so to speak. Everything is alive. We just don't recognize it because it's varying degrees of awareness that is inhabiting it, so to speak. So this is a diagram of the flow of consciousness, basically, that creates the reality that we reside in as awareness, right?
Okay.
So there's always the beginning, which would be the light of consciousness, or you can see it as the sun, so to speak, because as above, so below. So whatever is on the other side manifests on this side, so on and so forth, right? So you see the light of the sun, or the light of consciousness, or the Christ consciousness itself, and that flows through something that splits it and divides it up into differing flows, so to speak. And then it kind of reflects off of varying reflective surfaces. And reflection is the moon reflects, for example, Saturn reflects, for example, right? All the planets reflect light. And we can see light as a kind of manifested form of consciousness. Dr. Masaru Emoto, who I also studied with, and I actually went out to Japan and took a week course with him and his son Hiro Emoto out there.
Oh, wow.
Trying to prove that water was the manifestation of the Holy Spirit, right? And that was his next step after he proved all those water crystals that we could influence them by observing them.
Right. I was going to ask you if that was him. Yeah.
Yeah. And his next step was going into that, but then he passed away. I was actually in his last self-taught class.
Wow.
And so that all kind of came together, right? And so as consciousness flows around basically and is reflected off of certain belief sets, because the planets represent also belief sets or belief constructs in a way, right? Then it comes together and forms our reality, which is here on the earth, which is a hologram. It's not the real thing. Somewhere else outside of this construct, there is a concept and idea, right, of what this reality is supposed to look like. Just like when we create a hologram on stage, like Tupac Shakur singing or whatever, we have that concept and idea, even though it's not really him on stage, right? Which is reconstructed. So somewhere outside of this construct is an image of what Earth is supposed to be, what we're supposed to be experiencing here, and what it's supposed to look like.
I have a very interesting theory about that. I'd love to share it sometime.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. Now's a good time, right?
had one of those epiphanies like Carr had with the whole idea of living in a simulation, that we are living in an actual simulation. And I latched onto this about a decade ago, kind of as a joke. But as I have run it again and again and again and again, against experience and what I've been learning, it's like, wow, that makes perfect sense. Right. So a lot of religious systems treat the concept of what was there before there was something. And it was this formless potential that was nothing yet. There was nothing. It was everything and nothing yet. At some point, it separated from itself and started to consider itself. That was the beginning of duality. And that was those thought, it considering itself, became thought forms in and of themselves and began growing in and of themselves. And each thought that those thought forms had became its own universe in and of itself. So instantaneously, an infinitesimal number of universes were created. And if you take that down all the way to us and think about every single one of us, and the moment that we're born is our singularity, where the egg and the sperm happen, energy merges, and a life begins to grow from that. Everything that happens after that fills up that entity's universe. And it's my belief, after many years of exploring different frequency levels of existence, that everything that you think of, like the characters I've created in my mind, everyone I've ever thought of and had a relationship with, people I bumped into on the bus, every thing I've learned, watched, all of those are pieces in my personal universe, none of which any other person will be able to touch, except the ones I share out with them, or if somebody can reach in themselves and see pieces of that. But my universe is my personal universe. I'm God in that universe. I'm the creator in that universe. So what's to say that outside of us isn't somebody else that just thought me up?
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there that thing out. And someone thought him up, and that's just playing out. He's not even really sitting there affecting me. I thought he was affecting me for so long, but I don't think so. I think he just created that. I am alive now in that frequency in his universe, and now I'm functioning. And I'm creating my own universes, and those things are creating yet again their own universes.
And it's amazing that you're bringing that up, because that's exactly what we're moving from. We're moving from this understanding of a universe and all is one and all this stuff into a multiverse, right? And that's what one of my teachers taught me, was that it always goes from one to the many, from the many to the one.
But the bottom line is all of this are just functions of different constructs of energy.
Wait, yeah. But Geordie Rose, I don't know if you guys have heard about Geordie Rose. Geordie Rose was he's the founder of D-Wave quantum computing. And him and his chief scientist, Eric Ladozinski, have amazing videos out on the quantum world that they're diving into through their quantum computer that they've developed, that is now owned, of course, by the U.S. government, by Boeing, by, I think, Stanford, the usual stuff.
And now using those and the James Webb telescope, now they think already the Big Bang bullshit. Yeah. Physics as we know it is deconstructing right before our eyes to be replaced with who knows what.
That's what he's, and in a lot of his speeches, and he talks about it on YouTube, really super open. He's like, we've got to go into these universes and exploit them. And just the language that he uses, but they confirm that they have access to multiple universes through their quantum computing. They absolutely, totally confirm it. And they talk about it because they say, the problem is it's really mechanistic. If you have one, you want to increase computing power, and you have one computer.
It's not about that. See, they're going about it the wrong fucking way.
Normally in our 3D universe,
the only thing that really matters is the energy. Everything else is just trying to cop that. And if you harness your personal energy, which is a piece of the original God, then infinite abilities and everything that you're relying on the computer to do is within your grasp.
That's what they want, because So Eric was saying that usually, you know, if you want more computing power, you have one computer, you have to times that by 2, and then you have twice the computing power, and you have 2 computers sitting there, and so on and on it goes. But now they're going quantum. And what they found was they didn't have to multiply their computers. They have one computer, and in those universes, those computers existed already. Isn't that madness?
It's
so
total
while
madness.
The general population is still like moping about, wondering if this is all really true, you know, and
Totally.
they're already
It's
working.
true. Everything is true.
What that also means is that if all those computers already exist in all these multiverses, we do too.
Yeah,
So them
hell
going
yeah.
in there and trying to harness all that means they're trying to harness us. And we have no clue that we even exist anywhere else but here.
Well, I think for me, and you just kind of hit it on the head.
That
for
is
me,
like,
yeah, for me, the current the importance of this moment in time is the veil being lifted. and that's exactly what you're talking about. Like what we thought was reality is not, and I don't even know what to expect, because I think that the veil is being lifted and we're going to see some things that we can't even think up right now. But I'm going to take a couple of steps back, because this is even more amazing, and that is, Brian, your theory about kind of everybody is a universe and the multiverse. We have never even talked about that, you and I specifically, and I have had exactly those same thoughts. And so we're all drawing from that same source. But to me, the existence of you and me and Kar is proof of the existence of the multiverse, because we each are our own universe. Like
Exactly.
you said, thoughts and ideas that you've had don't even exist in my universe unless we've discussed them, and we
can't touch each other's total universes.
This moment right here, the three of us, me up in the left, you up in the right, and Kar down at the bottom, we're all experiencing that. But in our own universes, it has its own signature. It's got its own, you know, it's its own thing. And this can be taken even further, I think. And you guys have me on a roll here. This can be taken even further with the whole idea of spirit. What you do, Kar, mediumship, is because I think that as we have each other in our lives, we are now, like my grandfather, for instance, was a part of me growing up, and his frequency and my frequency were interacting, and now I still have my grandfather in my universe, in my brain, in my memories, in my thoughts, which is really the only thing that's real, right? Is the actual thoughts, the energy that are those thoughts. So, you know, I have my own theories about mediumship and multi-universes and how it's all tied together. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, you know, and not just my life, my grandfather was part of my brother's life, you know what I mean? In his own universe, his own version of his multiverse. So I think, like you said, I think things are about to be flipped on their head, and we're about to realize a whole bunch of things that are kind of coming to light, you know, like you said, with the quantum physics, and I had never even heard that in multiverses those computers are already there. I mean, that you blew my mind with that, and I haven't even finished processing that. But
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, what was more amazing to me is, again, and Brian, you and I have talked about this, is in the last 6 months or a year, let's say, I have been able to very clearly see, not in every single person I interact with, but I see my reflection in everybody, you know, and when I see it very specifically in people that I'm talking to, it's not like a reflection in the traditional way, like it doesn't look like me or sound like me or feel like me.
I would just say that it's not actually a reflection, but it's a connection based on a magnetic connection to frequency. Because you're vibrating in a particular way, you're attracting other beings that are vibrating at that resonance, and that's how those connections happen. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's great. We've got somebody new out there. I want to say hello to Molly Solomon. Hello,
Hi,
Molly.
Molly.
nice to meet you. Thank you for coming here. And Deb is actually asking for that link. So if you can find it.
Deb on hair. What girl?
I can share it here if you.
Yeah, I'll send it
if
to you
do
right
it.
now. I
And
just
and again, Brian, again, you've hit it on the head, and I think that's what is creating these spiritual communities and all of these people and these three people on the screen and this energy that we're creating right now. You know, like it's all
Well,
happening.
and to that note, you know, what you're attracting in your life, what's going on in your life is really, I mean, outside influences, okay, yeah, planetary, this, that, yeah. It's the weather, man. You know, what's happening and what you're attracting is based on what you're projecting. And
Totally.
even in the middle of the storm, you can find your own bubble of centeredness, you know?
Right.
Maybe not absolute joy, centeredness, you know, and you don't have to be buffeted by the storms from the outside all the
Totally. All
time.
right. Car, you just sent me this. I'm actually gonna put it into the comments because then people can copy and paste. If I put it up on the screen, they have to like type it in. So it's a bunch of stuff. So it should be on Facebook and YouTube, you guys. You should see in the comments
and
from the
what's interesting is that these videos are like, some of them are 5-6 years old.
Amazing, right?
Right?
Amazing. I watch stuff and I'm just like, oh, this is so relevant. And then I'm like, wow, this is 2016. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, this has been coming for a long time. And that's what's so cool. It's like I can sit back and I can watch what's happening in the world, and I can see a lot of people living in fear and struggling and all of the politics and all of that stuff go on. But I could also sit back and I can be like, what a phenomenal time in humanity, and just be so excited about what's to come. You know what I mean? Like I have no fear about what's to come because I know it's just going to be another manifestation of love that I haven't even understood yet. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
so you know, awesome. Inner peace and the eye of the
And
hurricane.
thank God for people that walk the path with us, like Brian and, you know, other people that have connections in knowledge, tools.
Totally. Well, you know, I always said this. I always said this even before I knew what the heck I was saying, and that is, you know, like I'm like people would ask me. I would always support my competitors. I would be like, "Oh, go check out this photographer," because I'm a photographer, right? And people would say, why are you telling people to go look at that person's work?" And I'm like, because I want to know that that's what's out there. I want to know that that's what the world is like, and if I'm doing it, I know that that's out there. I know that that exists. I know that that world exists, even if that's not what they're doing. I know it exists because I'm creating it. And it's always like, be the love that you want to see, right? And it's just so simple. And Deb says her son has this knowledge. That's also something amazing. Just to kind of go on a little bit of tangent is the whole idea of indigo children and the young generation, and then even beyond that, the autistic population and the kind of the spectrum. I love the way they say that because it's like, yeah, the spectrum is infinite, and they're outside of our spectrum, which is a good thing. It's like a gift, right? So it's really exciting to see what's going on with all of that stuff. I mean, I'm totally distracted. My brain is going a million miles a minute. So,
No, I had that conversation with Brian a couple of days ago too, because my daughter is 21 now, and it's like the world is so different for her than it was for me back then, and it feels even more different than the generation gap that was between me and my parents. You know, like it's so much more huge, and the development and the growths and the and everything, relationships. You know, back when I was little, it was still pretty he, she family, you know, and now it's like it's for her. I feel, coming from the old perspective, the backward perspective kind of thing, if you want to see it like that, it's like everything has been taken away from this generation, you know. It's like they won't be able to buy a house just because they finished university. They won't be able to. Now they're competing against AI. Like, what kind of a competition is that? You know, like we're competing against each other.
They're stealing humanity's personal ingenium.
Yeah.
It's really
See,
in a certain way.
and
horrible.
Brian and I are going to argue about this. We both
Horrible.
not
In a
argue, but we
certain way.
stand on different sides.
Nightmare.
I think that it's really interesting how the world is changing right beneath our feet, and we don't even realize it.
Oh, I realize it.
Well, we do realize it, but I'm
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where like it's almost like you blink, and then all of a sudden you've got robots in your household, doing things, and you blink, and I don't know if you guys have seen some of the development projects that are happening, like the line out in the desert. Did we talk about that at all?
Yeah.
They're trying to create these new structures for civilization, and new ways that we live, and good or bad, I don't, that's not, we can have a conversation about that, but it's happening is what I'm saying.
It is. Yeah.
And you're just going to turn around and all of a sudden there's going to be this city that is in the middle of the desert, that is these two huge buildings that just, I should probably bring up the website, but this stuff is happening right under our feet. The AI stuff that's all over the place now that we're talking about, that has been going on. It's just been happening, but all of a sudden you like open your eyes and now it's like, wait, people are doing comic books and tarot decks and
like Brian said last time too, like he mentioned, I think it was you anyways, you said nobody asked, where is this consciousness coming from? Everybody's just like, oh, let's dive into it, let's play with it. It's like, but how do we be so backwards for 1,000 years, where the development between the Middle Ages and 1700 was like minuscule, and then all of a sudden we're developing rapidly, like we can't even keep up pace.
No, the paradigm changes daily now.
Yeah.
Like, how's that? Where is this coming from?
Absolutely. Oh, I want to say hello to Leslie, who's out there. She says Web3 is also happening.
Right on.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, and I've been kind of learning a little bit about crypto and NFTs.
See, let me ask you guys something.
Yeah, go ahead.
It seems like more and more and more AI is like kind of like taking over the responsibility of anything that remotely resembles effort for people, making everything absolutely effortless, so they don't have to develop a brain to think and do that part of the creativity. They don't have to do stuff. It's like they can sit around and atrophy and watch TV from now to the end of time. So what happens when the power goes off, which it's going to? Power's gonna go off.
Right.
What happens then?
Brian, I think the important thing to remember is
what happens with that city?
No, but listen, I think the important thing is this. There are, like, I have not had television for 10 years. I cut cable. Yes, I have the internet.
You have power.
I have power. Yes.
You have power to choose whatever thing you want to do.
But what I'm saying, you said it, and this is what made me think about it, is I have always had respect for anybody who is not sitting on their couch and just watching TV. And there are a lot of people who are like, and I say it because I work in the independent film community, right? And in the independent film community, there are people out there who are really talented. And there are people out there who are really not talented. But I give them kudos because they're not sitting on their butts watching TV. They're out there making independent films. They're out there creating. So what I'm saying to you, Brian, is there are people out there that
doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, right. But not everybody is interested.
Not
everybody is interested in what's going to make my life. How can I just sit on the couch and watch TV? People might now
you're taking that as an extreme, man. That's like kind of like where AI is going. Not like right this second, but it's like if you look at it, dude, thing by thing by thing by thing, it goes down and takes something that you have to do. Like actually getting up to change, picking up a remote to change the channels, too much trouble. No, now you have to have a voice thing that says, oh yeah, go get channel 6. I mean, it's like everything is just like, Be-
What Pixar movie was that? Was it Wall-E?
Wall-E, yeah,
Right,
Wall-E.
where they're sitting there in
Yeah.
their chairs, their recliner
That
chairs,
was a great
zooming all
movie.
over the
No,
place.
and Wall-E goes through it very specifically and shows the evolution of the human like vertebrae. Like we lose our vertebrae because we don't need to stand up anymore, and we just become these mushes. Like yeah, Wall-E was great. And see, that's what's so amazing is it's sold to us as entertainment, but it's actuality.
Well, it's selling a concept that is detrimental to the evolution of people as we know them.
Right.
And that is that you like work, like finding work with something that you're passionate about is not a jail sentence. It's a gift.
That's right.
I get up every morning.
And it always
oh
will
my
be.
God, I can't believe I get to do what I do. That's amazing.
Sunshine here. Sunshine, welcome. Sunshine is here. Always nice when sunshine fills the room.
But hey, Sunshine, you're glowing again.
So we got Brian all worked up here talking about AI. Let's talk about something else.
I contemplate that a lot. I'm sorry.
No, and I do. And listen,
and it keeps getting shoved in my face. Like
these conversations are great, regardless of if they get a little energetic. It's all good. I'm usually the calm one, but you guys have got me a little worked up.
Oh man, a little healthy discourse is always awesome, man.
Yeah, totally. So I don't know.
But that's all part of the retrograde, right? Is like this reflection.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I'm feeling a lot of really good energy. It's really good. The live stream of consciousness again was kind of like it was born from a show that Jesse and I were doing, and you hit on some of the things, Brian, where he did the 13 universal laws, and he started with the law of one, how everything was one, and then how it split into two, and then started to contemplate itself.
That's a holistic thing.
It was. So we did that class, and then this is the live stream of consciousness became a continuation of that conversation, just to kind of invite other people to talk about it and bring up some cool stuff. And I just want to just shout out real quickly to anybody who's out in the audience. Thank you so much for being here, either for the first time or always coming back, whatever it is. Tell your friends about this stuff. Sunshine's got a great show, The Ripple Effect. Go look it up, go watch it. These conversations, these moments, this energy, this is for us, this is for you, this is for us. I feel like you can heal from it, we heal from it, you know what I mean? I've been telling all of my friends who are light workers and healers, like, man, every time you heal someone, don't you love that healing that you get back? Like it's healing to heal someone, you know what I mean? It's like you can feel it. Kar, you are poking at me here a little bit. You want to talk about 10 things in Star Trek that actually came true. This is
that came into my mind when we were talking about Wall-E.
You know what? That is such a great topic, because it's Star Trek is a great place to start, and has so many of them, but it's all over the place. There's so many things that have come true. So let's see, what's your top Star Trek thing that has come true?
That was just a passing thought while you were speaking about Wall-E. And
right.
oh my God, wasn't there Star Trek? And all this stuff came true in Star Trek too. Like pre-programming us for what they're about to do. And
the Borg. The Borg.
Oh God.
The Borg.
I totally forgot about those guys.
Yeah. And it's so funny because earlier, actually, Brian, you were talking about, everything that you've thought. We were talking about the multiverse, and I feel like anything that's ever been thought or written, like books and characters and all the things you were talking about earlier, that stuff exists
it's alive. That's exactly
you
right.
Thought it, so you created it. It's
a thought form that takes its own shape. Yes,
that's right. And here's the cool thing too. I think I made a meme about this a couple of years ago when I was like trying to say things to blow people's mind. Every time that you have a thought, you expand the universe.
Your universe.
The universe. I mean, your universe is a part of the universe, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's my mindset that like You're not, I can't touch most of your universe. I can only touch the pieces of your universe that you choose to share with me. And I would say that to the external universe at large, most of your universe is inaccessible.
Wow, interesting.
That's just
No,
an
that's
opinion. I don't put that forth as a truth, but it's my truth of the moment because that's what seems to make sense at the last time I went down that road.
You planted that. It went in my brain. It's germinating right now. I'm thinking about it.
That's kind of the crazy thing. I kept thinking about that. Like there's 6 billion people on the planet, and not one of them thinks exactly the same. There are no two universes that are alike. So how can we expect like 6 billion complete different universes to coexist peacefully? It's a miracle that it has to this point. You know,
absolutely. But see, now you've got me thinking. It's like, okay, I understand the idea of parts of my universe being inaccessible to other parts of the universe at large. You said, right? So, but there's
the external universe outside you, because the actual universe you have a reflection of in your universe inside, and that universe is getting populated. However, the one that Car and I are in and is outside of that we can't reach in there and see that. Most of your universe is inaccessible.
But do you okay, I can understand inaccessible, but do you think that thoughts that I've had that are somewhere deep inside that I've never shared with anybody that are inaccessible to you, do you think that those thoughts are not connected somehow to the rest of the universe, like they're disconnected?
I think that in like if you think about the human body and you break it down to organs and you break it down to cells and you break it down to like if you looked at the nucleus of an actual human cell, I mean, it's a universe in and of itself. Is that actually connected to you consciously? No. But is it functioning in your scope? Yes. Is there awareness of that cell that you have in your largeness, or is that cell aware of you?
That's
I don't think so.
Answer.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. You actually answered my question. I can't even believe that you
did. I've thought about that a lot, actually. That's something I really have considered at length.
So you're bringing up some interesting things. There's some firing going off in my brain right now. About awareness, like so you know, how do I articulate this? Wow. You know, I mean, just about awareness. So wow, the way that you described the universe in itself inside of the nucleus of the cell not being aware of me as a bigger entity that it's a part of, right? That's what you got me thinking about, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
That's a big concept, dude. That'll take you a while, man, because it has a lot of legs. It really does, man. But it explains a lot.
There's a part of me that understands it off the bat right away. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the answer. That's right. But I'm trying to okay, now I got to backtrack and figure out why do I even understand that? And Car is just nodding her head. She's like, yeah.
Car's amazing, man. Her light is just I love swimming in the ocean of her light, man. It is delightful.
I was just thinking about the breath and breathing as you guys were speaking, and he was mentioning like that, and how the breath goes into all areas and everywhere, and there's no hold for the breath. And one of my teachers, he talks about the breath as being like the Holy Spirit. So people are always asking, where is God? Where is God? And there he is riding in on the breath of the Holy Spirit, right? So the breath, etc. I can go on and on about it. I don't want to lead too much off course of what you guys were talking about, but that's what was coming in my mind. That's why I was saying
actually it segues into something really great, because we're going to talk about breathing exercises as part of the practice things in the next couple shows.
Oh, nice.
Okay, cool.
Because there's some really specific breathing, like if you do some patterned breathing exercises, you can produce some really fast effects, like you can calm a panic attack. You can make your hands so hot that you can heal stuff. It's a lot. There are many different versions of that are really great. It's cool you brought that up, Carl.
So
Once
we
again.
got a couple of comments here. I just want to give people some acknowledgement. Molly says the magician is nothing but the shuffling and reshuffling of divine archetypal archetype. Blah, 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 blah. I can't even speak. Archetypal ideas. And then Jilly is talking about how cells are instinctual. So it's so great because all of the things that we're talking about, I think, are like firing people's cells and brains off. Like you said, you were thinking about Star Trek, and like we have these conversations, and then it's like, oh, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about this, and then it goes somewhere else.
Well, are those some of your
so
favorite journeys where you just sit in a quiet place and it's just you and your thoughts and God, and you just start with a thought and follow the path? I just love that. I can do that for hours.
I love it. Well, thank you too for doing with me for the last hour and saving my butt with my no guest tonight. Car, we will get you on the schedule for an episode all about you, and we'll talk about what you do, and you can answer my questions and all of that stuff. I can't wait. Very exciting.
Don't hurt him, Car.
And the three of us, will be back together on Monday on the Fool's Journey.
Yes, that's right.
So look for that. Again,
we'll be doing the priestess.
So much gratitude to everybody who participated today. I feel like
I just want to say that
showing up.
That one last thing, there's going to be a lot of negative news coming up for this autumn with how the skies look and astrology, and we're also moving into a solar eclipse in October and a lunar eclipse in November. So it's really planets in retrograde, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. It's like total lights out. And I live in Mexico right now, but like for other people living in northern countries like Germany, UK, like they're having real issues around gas and heating, and they're predicting a cold winter and a dark winter. And there's just so much negative news. And now's the time where I feel like it's really an opportunity for people to take a deep breath in, right? And like Brian says throughout this whole thing is like refocus on your own structures and what's going on in your universe and what is happening within you and how can you make that manifest on the outer. And it's almost like now is crunch time, like we've been given all these lessons and information over the years and years and years. And now it's the time to really like make it happen,
Amazing advice, Car. I think you're right to kind of bring the tone down on our way out. Just take care of yourself and don't panic. You know what I mean? Don't freak out and know that everything's inside you and take that opportunity to look at everything that's inside you.
Your perspective on any situation is always your choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your happiness is your choice, not a condition of outside things happening to you.
That's right.
And if you just always remember that, you'll stay good.
Totally. Also great words, Brian. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up for this week. You guys stay here with me. Hold on. I've got to turn off. I got to figure out how to run all of these things at once. I got to turn off Jill's comment. There we go. I got to get ready to run the outro music. Next week is going to be a really amazing week for me. I'm excited. I have 2 episodes of the live stream as well as the Fool's Journey on Monday. On Wednesday, I've got Lori Ladd, who wrote this amazing book called The Divine Design. And she's really, really out there right now on social media, and her book is out there. And so Lori Ladd, look for her and follow her. But she's on my show on Wednesday. It's going to be a special day. And then Thursday, I've got Michael Wellhouse, who is the theologist. So he comes from a very, very religious background and upbringing and belief system. And I said, you know what, let me have him on and talk to him, not spirituality versus religion, but spirituality and religion and how they coincide. And what's amazing is since I've invited him on the show, he's been out there watching, and we've had episodes where Carla Guido was talking about the violet flame, which is Saint Germain, which totally has these religious connotations, and it totally brought the religion and the spiritual together. So I cannot wait for that conversation. That one's going to be a good one. So that's it. Thank you two for joining me and being here and being yourselves. Jilly saying thank you also. and we'll see.
Always a joy, Michael. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you for hosting and the invitation. And the-
it's my pleasure. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.